just got home from a site visit this morning, which was very good. We figured out a lot of things. There are a few things that need to be changed, which are slightly annoying, but not the end of the world. It's better to know those things now than further along in this project. I also have not yet eaten breakfast. I think I might keep my coat on for a minute. It's really cold. I'm gonna have a ginger shot firstly. I think I'm just gonna do another vlog of a few days as an interior designer, and probably with like a Q&A section on this, because I've had so many DMs asking questions about like how I got into the industry, what I studied, how I became self-employed or freelance, or like got my own clients. So I think I'll delve into that at some point, but I have more work I need to do right now, so I can't. I'm gonna make breakfast though, because I have been working since about 8 AM. I think I'm just gonna do something very quick and make some toast. I don't know if I have an avocado. I would make avocado on toast, but I don't think I have one. So I'll just do peanut butter and probably Marmite on toast. By the way, Jason sourdough, obsessed. Seen it all over TikTok as well. I think everyone's obsessed with it at this point, but such good ingredients. So I'm gonna do Jason sourdough, peanut butter and Marmite. Also, I was gonna say something else and now I can't remember what it was. Can't remember. Also, I got ready in about 10 minutes this morning, so hence, oh, also my makeup is pilling. I think that's the word. Like if I touch it, it like rolls up and comes off my face. And I used a new moisturizer, so I think that that's why that moisturizer didn't agree with whichever skin tint I used over the top. So that was annoying, but you're gonna have to excuse my presentation because like I said, I got ready very quickly and my hair was really a greasy mess, so I just shoved it back in a plait. The sun is out today, but it's still just very cold. For my site visit today, I just had on like a black cashmere jumper, I think it's from COS, some gym leggings, and then I just wore my H&M dupes of the Row boots, which are very comfortable for site because I love a backless loafer. If you follow me for a while, you'll be aware of that. And I kept wearing backless loafers to site and they are just not a good site shoe. So I learnt my lesson and I now wear my boots most of the time. Very quick food shop and picked up a parcel from Waitrose while I was there. So it was from John Lewis, but I picked it up from Waitrose, so I thought I might as well do a food shop while I'm there. And I have 2 minutes. Where's my phone? I forgot my glasses on. I have 2 minutes before I have a call with clients, but this red wool scarf, which I really like. I love red. I don't really wear any colors other than red, blue, and neutrals, and I sometimes wear black, which I'm wearing today. So either like that, I think it's inside out right now, and obviously my hair's not looking very good. I would do this with my hair down, but we could do like a head scarf moment. The possibilities are endless. So very happy about that. And I really should hop on this client call, but I'm just going to show you quickly my haul. Granola, we're going to run through this very quickly. Granola, kefir yogurt, 3 different flavors of these naked bars because they're my favorite and have very clean ingredients. For dinner tonight, I'm making chicken ramen, so I got chicken, rice noodles, sesame seeds, spring onions, carrots, a red pepper, and then I got some grapes to snack on because they're one of my favorite snacks. I got some raspberries for my granola, and then I also got this chicken stock, which really isn't very good, but I couldn't find anything else. So that's my haul. I'm gonna hop on a call with a client very quickly. I think it should just be about a half-an-hour call. And then I'm gonna sort out some upholstery fabrics for a different project. Client meeting went well, and I just sent a couple of emails. Got What's the time? It's already nearly 5. So I just have, oops, I have loads of samples to open up and just check before we get the bespoke upholstery items made. I literally can't speak, I'm so tired. This is the pipe that we're using for a window seat cushion, which I'm very excited about. The colours are really nice. Everything's like baby blue and pink, but quite traditional. That envelope was really stuck down, but quite traditional style for this one project. I think I'm currently working on 4 different projects, so I need to remember which sample is for which project as well. But I do feel like when you've worked on a project for a while and designed the whole thing from start to finish, you just know exactly what everything is and where it goes. Sorry, my camera is really bad at focusing. Lots of lovely wallpaper samples. This one's a bit metallic, I don't like that, but the rest are lovely. Jesus, that envelope is the stickiest thing I think I've ever touched. There's a fabric company called Altfield that always pack these little sweets in their orders. They're like rock sweets, and I forgot, and I always used to love getting these orders so that I could eat their sweets because they actually are really good. My ex-work colleague used to hate them, so whenever she got Altfield orders, she would always bring her sweets to me. Blind fabric, you can't really see the texture. Really nice blind fabric. Slightly green. I don't know if you can see. This I'm so excited about. I can't wait to see this one up. Oh my god, I love the colours even more than seeing it this time around for some reason. I'm so excited about that. Love this fabric. I need to look at these properly when it's a bit lighter outside because it's very much golden hour right now, and that's not always the best for looking at fabric samples. This one is very fun too. I don't know if they're even focusing, but I really like this. It's like slightly, got some slightly silky threads running through. It's officially 5:08 and I've been working since 8 AM. So I'm gonna semi-log off, although I say that, but I always end up kind of just answering emails on my phone or WhatsApps from clients on my phone throughout the evening, so I'll probably still do a bit of that, but like in terms of sitting down and doing work, I'm done. I think I'm just gonna spend the next hour or 2 editing a video, which I'm hoping I can get out by tomorrow, because that would be very fun if I can get that out. So I started watching The OC and I'm loving it so far. I'm only a few episodes in, but I'm like very excited to sit down and watch that tonight after I've made dinner. I also have therapy this evening, but that's quite late, so I'll probably shower. I need to wash my hair. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. Still lots to do, even though it's the end of the workday. I'm struggling to put into words how tired I am right now. I just spent a good hour and a half editing a video and I'm nowhere near finished. And it's like 40 minutes long, which I need to cut down significantly. But now it's time to make chicken ramen. I have about half an hour to make it and then another 20 minutes to eat it, and then I'm going to try and wash my hair before I go to therapy. Ignore the frizz of my hair right now. I'm just not, I don't know what the word is, but I'm just I've got other stuff to be dealing with, you know. I can't be slipping my hair right now. I'm gonna go make chicken ramen, which is a very easy dinner to make, so I'm glad I chose that for my meal tonight. And then yeah, I think I'm gonna head to therapy in my pajamas, which is what I did last time, and actually which I do most times I go to therapy, because therapy is about being comfy. And I'm currently wearing Hanukkah pajamas in March, but they're really cozy, and we just don't worry about these things. We don't worry about my frizz, we don't worry about Hanukkah pajamas, we just make dinner. Now about a week, actually probably like 2 weeks after I filmed that. I have been crazy busy. I can't even remember how many projects at this point. They're all in like different stages. I'm running a good few London-based projects. I think I'm working on 4 or 5 at the minute. I think it's actually 5 or 6. Anyway, so I've been very busy, and that means that my YouTube content does not take priority, because obviously it takes a while to edit, upload, blah blah blah. And also, like, when I'm just focusing so much creativity into these projects, it's hard to be that creative with my social media too. Anyway, I've had a lot of comments and questions about how I got into the industry. I mean, that's the main question, to be honest, but just like questions about the industry. And I think it's very important for me to start by first of all saying the industry in general, at least in London, is a tough industry. Actually, I'll start by telling my story of how I got into the industry, and then I'll explain it. So I studied at KLC. I did my degree in philosophy, entirely unrelated. I did my master's degree in media and communications with like an aspect of gender and culture studies in there as well. Again, completely unrelated. 2 really interesting degrees, but I felt like they didn't really lead me. They open up so many doors because of the way that it makes you think, but it also doesn't send you in like one set direction. So I finished my degree, finished my master's, and then I was like, what do I actually want to do with my life? Because there was no set career to go into after that. So I've always been quite creative, but went down like a more academic route with my studies, even in terms of like the GCSEs and A-levels I chose, because that was just what I thought I was meant to do. So, and I am really grateful, because I think like the places that I studied, the subjects that I studied, and going down that academic route has really given me so many tools and skills that are still so beneficial for being creative. And I've said this before in one of my TikTok videos, but I think interior design seems like such a fun, creative career, which it definitely is at times, but it's also so much about organization, logistics, space planning. And I'm very grateful that I had the training for my brain to work in that way too, because it means I love all elements of my projects. It's not just like I do the design, then I'm like, oh, now I have to actually implement it. Like, I love all parts of it, and I function really well with a balance between that more creative side and the more, I guess, logical side, although, I mean, those can interact. But anyway, so I finished my degrees and was like, I don't know what I want to do now, but like, I think I just want to do something more creative. And I also wanted to go, I mean, I've wanted to do interior design for ages, but kind of thought, oh, I didn't do my degree in it, so like, forget it. Anyway, then I was like, fuck it. And I used my savings to study at KLC School of Design after my master's degree, even though that was the last thing I wanted to do. I wanted to be out in the real world making money as soon as possible, but I was like, I know I'm going to be so much happier doing this career. So anyway, studied at KLC, and then we had a luxury interior design firm come and give a talk at KLC when I was there, and I really liked the scale of projects that they worked on, and just the designs that they produced were very, very incredible, high scale luxury. Like, I could tell that it was a very fast-paced environment, and I kind of thrive in that kind of environment. So I basically had my portfolio ready to go, and I put a lot of time into my portfolio because it's a creative industry. You can't just like shove a couple of pictures on there and be like, okay, thanks. Like, I made my portfolio look very curated, I guess is probably the best word I can use. Anyway, so I was like ringing up the reception like, hi, I want to do an internship with you. I've emailed you over my portfolio, blah, blah, blah. Don't take no for an answer. I did not take no for an answer. Like, I would keep ringing, anyway. I ended up they offered just a 2-week internship. And when I did that 2-week internship, I knew going into it that I was not going to take no for an answer in terms of securing a full-time role after that. I made it very clear. I remember on like probably my 2nd or 3rd day on the internship, everyone was like, so what are you going to do after this internship? And I said, I haven't got anything lined up because I'm hoping to go full-time here. And everyone was like, but I was just very, I knew what I wanted. I knew that I wanted to stay there. I knew that it would be such great exposure and experience. Anyway, I ended up working there for about a year. and I learned so much. Like, the senior designers that I worked under were honestly just some of the most incredible people in general, but also some of the most incredible designers, and I just learned so much about like pushing the boundaries and stuff. And there were so many times where we'd send a design over to the supplier and they'd be like, this is so difficult to recreate, and we were like, okay, but is it possible? And they were like, oh, yeah, fine. So I just learned a lot in that role, but it wasn't somewhere that I wanted to stay for a long time. And then after that, I was lucky enough to have a few freelance projects. Some of them I did completely for free to just build up my portfolio with friends and family. And I'm saying this because it's my experience, but obviously I know that that's not possible for everyone. So my recommendation would be to make up a project. Literally just dream up a space, create the floor plan, create the furniture schedule, create your 3D model, create your concept, like just fake projects and add them to your portfolio if you have to. If you're studying interior design, then you have your projects from your studies anyway. So I knew I didn't want to be there for a long time, and then I made the decision to leave because I was like, I can work on my portfolio. And I was also in a lucky position where I'd worked throughout my degrees, which meant that I'd saved up enough money to just do my own thing basically for a few months. After that, I then applied for freelance roles. So I did like my limited few freelance projects that I didn't really earn much money from. And then I went into a part-time freelance role just to have some income. And then again, when I went into that role, I was like, I'm not taking no for an answer. Like, I'm gonna run these projects. And I just, again, kind of proved myself in that situation, and I'm really lucky with the company that I ended up doing that freelance work for, because the industry can be really toxic. Like, I remember speaking to, what's the time? I have a meeting soon. Okay, so I remember speaking to senior designers and being like, oh, this place is advertising a position, like, do you think I should send them my portfolio, blah, blah, blah. And they'd be like, no, they're horrible to work for. No, I've heard that these people are really horrible to work for. So-and-so worked for this person and said that they're awful. Honestly, almost every design firm was like that. And I already knew that I wanted to run my own interior design business as part of the reason I went into this career anyway. I was fortunate enough that I could wait a while and end up with this freelance position. And honestly, this company was just the best. And I just think that they're a very rare find in this industry, and gave me so much freedom, so much creative control. Like, I just really was able to flourish, do project management, work one-on-one with contractors, work on the project from concept to installation. Like, they just really trusted me, and also I worked my butt off. So that was very, I think lucky is probably the right word. And yeah, I mean, so much of my knowledge is down to like being thrown in at the deep end by people that are happy to help if you have questions and also trust you to just figure it out. Now, I do some freelance work still, but mostly just focus on running my own company and getting projects and clients through there. So that's like my very quick breakdown. And someone actually messaged me on Instagram today asking, I think they were an interior design student, and asking what to put in their portfolio. They said that they're nearly finishing and they're trying to get their portfolio figured out. And like, what do you put in? My biggest recommendation would be like the concept or slightly more stylistic aspects. So like furniture curation, mood board curation, because I think if you put enough time in learning the softwares, by the way, AutoCAD, STMac or STPC and SketchUp, they're what I use. I think that they're kind of industry standards. I know it sometimes deviates, but typically if you learn one, then you can learn the other relatively easily. So you need to understand these softwares. They will save your ass. Understanding those softwares is one really good thing to put into your portfolio. But I think more than anything is showing that you have an eye for design, but I mean like a style. And I say this because almost anyone can like learn the softwares and figure that stuff out, or be taught how to use Photoshop, or be taught how to use blah, blah, blah. But not everyone has the eye for putting things together like a fabric board. And although you can learn it, it is much harder. So for me personally, like when I look at a portfolio, I really want to see if they've got style, essentially. I don't know if this makes sense or is even that helpful. But that's my biggest recommendation, is show that you're not just like doing the standard trending designs, like some light wood and marble at the minute. Think outside the box, do something interesting, show that you've got like just a bit more about you and a bit more going on. Like if you can use the software, it's great, show snippets of that, because once they see it once, they understand you can use the software, but focus mostly on actually your style and matching up materials nicely and that kind of thing. I think that that's probably more important. Don't know if that's helpful. Anyway, I think I've talked for quite a while now, and I know that there are so many more questions. I think I might do like a proper Q&A. This was meant to be a proper Q&A, but actually I think it's just easier to break down my experience and then have a few tips hopefully in there. I now have a meeting, so I have to leave and I cannot continue, but again, I think maybe I'll put a Q&A box on my story and then just do a full video of interior design Q&A. Will probably be easier. But yeah, on that note, I'm going to head to my meeting.